markets. You're not going to be able to do all of these. What you, I don't know if there's a good way of doing this really. When you talk about Bortoletto's finishing position, you could use this, but it's not, I feel like it's not going to be very easy. That's in order there. Sorry. Yeah, so this is, you know, top two finish, top four. You know, I think you've got every finishing position. So we can, I mean, Bortoletto's here. You know, you could kind of like, it'd be hard. I'm not suggesting this, to be honest, because I think it'd be very hard. You could keep scrolling up and down and sort of say, oh, you know, where's his closest 50-50 line at the minute? And it's like, okay, it's either 6 or, you know, 6 or 7.5. Say, yeah, one of those. You know, there you go, he's 2.0. Do you guys talk in decimals, by the way? Odds?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. I shall be decimal for the day. Bortoletto, you know, so you could go over under 6.5 and just keep tracking it, and then, you know, if his odds move and then 7.5 becomes the closest 50-50 line, you could change the line to 7.5. You could do it like that, but I think that'll be, personally, I think that'll be quite hard. What I was thinking is just my thoughts, and you take it as you wish, but I was thinking maybe why don't you do Bortoletto to finish in the top 6 and Bortoletto to finish in the top 10 and just keep it at that. I think his odds for this race is pretty good. I think he's like 1.4, 1.5 to finish in the top 10, and I think he's currently about 4.5 to finish
5. Yeah, so top 6.
Yeah, so there's kind of like, you know, there's an appeal to those who want to back the favourites, and there's an appeal to those who want a bit of, you know, extra higher return for the money type of thing, but not extremely long or extremely short. Well, that's my suggestion. Maybe just create a manual market, Bortoletto top 6 finish, Bortoletto top 10 finish, just a yes side market, or whatever. You could do yes, no. You know, you could do yes, no, couldn't you? Obviously not too hard to do both sides, so you're doing one side. So you could get that through here. If you wanted to sort of narrow that down, you could like use the filter, so you could put 6.5 there. Unfortunately, there's nothing, I don't think there's any other way. You can't get rid of the 16.5, but it gets you there. And then maybe you could do, so points is actually named points finish. So, I mean, I think if I did that in the filter, no, it's not. Maybe if I do, yeah, there you go. If you put points finish, that could narrow it down. So you could have the two up side by side, and obviously just like scrunch your windows up a little bit, whatever. You know, so you got 6.5 and you got 10.5. Okay. What's your thought? Is that whatever you think, you know, and I'm not trying to dictate to you at all. I'm just trying to kind of throw some ideas to you. And obviously I know this is going to be difficult to do manually, so I'm trying to think of easy, practical ways that are targeted to what you're trying to achieve. I think Bortoletto targeted markets. And then if I go through the other markets, there's this gap to leader market here. Now, we're not trading this, and I don't know how good it is. Okay, so heads up, if you want to do it, it's your risk. That's it. Kind of could be an interesting market. And again, if I type in Bortoletto, you know, you could have it filtered down. You'll get a number of markets, but obviously these will keep changing. But let's look right. I don't know. Under 35.5, 173. A bigger price. Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't look right to me, does it? To leader. So you'll finish within 35.5 seconds is 173. There's a bigger price to finish within 40. I wouldn't do this.
No.
It doesn't look right to me. I've not looked at it before, and we haven't got round to this one, so I wasn't sure. No, I think I am. Maybe one of those is not meant to be active, but you'll not know, so I'd probably leave that one. So that was under driver props. Team, we're going to trade this. Might not be too hard, but don't know it really does what you're trying to target doing in terms of the Bortoletto angle. So there's a few team markets in there, but the only one we're actively going to be trading is this one. Just so you know. Yeah. How many people have you got? 2 people, yeah?
Mm.
I honestly would say if one person could probably handle race, winner, the winner, podium, and fastest lap, one could probably just about do that. And then maybe one could do, maybe one just keeps his eye on race and podium, and the second one does fastest lap and Bortoletto top 6, top 10. If the other one I was going to show you, which I think could be really quite interesting, under this head-to-head, we have like a lap by lap market, and you can see them here. So let me I'll filter this down. The screen is this tab is a little bit mixed with different markets, but so I've got here. It's the next 3 laps. So what lap are we on at the moment? We're in lap 12 here. So we're betting on lap 17, lap 18, and lap 19. Okay. And 3 laps before lap 18, that will close. It'll just keep moving on basically anyway. So there you go. It's moved to lap 13. So we're now betting 18, 19, 20. Okay. But what it's doing is we are, from by virtue of having the official data and the speed of that, and we're using what F1 uses for its cameras in terms of going to the battles of interest. The matchups will change. Okay, so it could be kind of nice. I mean, you could see Bortoletto. I don't think there is any at the minute. You see, we did do some markets with including Bortoletto before, but currently there is none of the active ones. None of them include Bortoletto. So I mean, you could have this open, and then as and when a quick hit Bortoletto market comes up, somebody can maybe do it. Maybe just do one. Maybe don't try doing all 3. Maybe just try doing one of them. So let me just try Sonodo. So pretend this is Bortoletto instead. But
yeah,
so we type in Bortoletto and go, oh, we've got some markets for Bortoletto at the minute, and instead of trying to do all 3, maybe just do the 18, and when that closes, do 19. So it's an idea. I think it's an interesting one.
Yeah, I think for the customer that's a really good market because it's fast. It's like in 3 laps could be like 6 minutes match, so should be really good.
Yeah, it should be. I would have low limits on this, by the way, just because my confidence. I guess my confidence doesn't really exist. The honest answer is I've never looked at it yet in much detail, but the idea is kind of nice, and just have it up for whatever currency you're dealing in, a couple of €100 or whatever dollars, whatever you are, Brazilian, whatever it is. That's probably my suggestion for you. If you've only got 2 people, I think that is going to be a lot, or as much much as you can handle.
Adam, for example, in that type of markets, you should recommend to open the last lap. For example, it is 18, 19, 20, to open the 20 lap because maybe it's no delay and could be like the easiest one to don't mess something up. Or
I think I just keep with this closest one actually. So
okay.
because it's always 5 laps before, and what you'll see
Okay.
is, and it doesn't go right up to there you go. See, there you go. We've just moved on to lap 15, and 19 is just closed.
Yeah. So
You
it's
know,
5. Yeah, shouldn't be any problem with 5. I mean,
it's very safe, I think. And yeah, the only thing with this one is, you know, it might be a hit and miss because if Bortoletto's not in any kind of current battle,
yeah,
he'll come and go. There you go. We've got something now. Russell against Bortoletto. I don't think he'd have that battle this year, but there you go. So yeah, you can keep this open on the screen. So the guy, I'd say one guy's doing race podium. Maybe do race podium and fastest lap. I think most bookmakers, somebody's doing that manually. The fastest lap disappears after about 20 laps anyway, for whatever reason, I'm not sure. But and then somebody else do. I don't know. What's your thoughts on the top 6, top 10? Would you suggest? Would you think do all the drivers or just focus on Bortoletto? I think if you just focus on Bortoletto as a yes type of market, then I think that makes that a lot easier than trying to track
everyone. Yeah,
everyone. And I think top 10's harder than top, than the winner or podium. Because I mean, there's a bunch of the front runners are, they're sure to get one. That's fine. Okay, they're probably 1.01 or no offers at some point pretty quickly. But I think there's a lot more kind of battle around that that cutoff point. So I think that'll be tricky, and I think maybe even top 6 would be tricky trying to do them manually. Your choice. That's my view. Yeah, personally, I'd say someone does Bortoletto top 6, yes or no, and Bortoletto top 10, yes or no, and then maybe and that same person could do this, have this window. So, I think race outcomes. Where's fastest lap? Fastest lap's there. Yeah, so I think one person would have 3 tabs or windows open. Race winner, get from this one. And then another tab open and do fastest lap. Yeah, no, this market's fine. The other ones that are team to have fastest lap or driver to win the race and have fastest lap.
Domination,
yeah. This is simply driver to have fastest lap. Yeah. So driver to win the race, driver to have fastest lap, and drivers to finish in the podium. I think if you had, you'd have another tab open, but another window open and put in podium, and just to help, like if you go into this podium tab, I would probably just do that to filter it, and it should get rid. It didn't. I thought it would remove the other one then. Sometimes I don't know why it doesn't do that, to be honest. But I think it would stay in order. I don't think it flips around. I think podium would stay there. So that should be okay. You just know not to look at this one. In fact, if you kind of narrow your windows down to a point. You can get it in the right place. You know what I mean? Yeah, so one person does winner, podium, fastest lap, another person does Bortoletto, top 6, top 10, and has the head-to-head market filtered down into Bortoletto. And, you know, there'll be as and when. So maybe the person doing top 6, top 10 can do fastest lap, actually, I would say, because they're probably okay if they're only looking at one driver, or, you know, not only looking after one selection, or, you know, yes, no of one driver. And they might be doing this, but it might be, you know, this might be hit and miss and occasional. They've probably got time to do fastest lap. The fastest lap's not too bad. It's pretty stable until, of course, somebody beats the time, you know. So, but if you've got this site up and Bet365, they'll all suspend pretty quickly, you know. So just hit your suspend buttons in your platform, and then, you know, reprice it as well. Any thoughts? Yeah, I mean, that's just my take on it. Obviously, you might want to change that a little bit, but I think obviously your main markets is race and podium, so, and it also race. So they're the one you want to be really focused on. It gets easier as the race progresses, typically, unless there's, you know, rain and crashes and stuff like that. But once they get about 20 laps into the race, it generally settles down, and it's fairly easy from that point. It's harder the earlier in the race, but yeah, I'd stick to those markets. How you split it up is your choice. If you want to do more markets, you can do, but again, if you want to do less markets, you can do. Yeah, I'm just trying to give you my thoughts, basically.
That's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
There's not
no,
too much delay, no, like the streaming that the people can see, like in Brazil, and this. I mean,
No, you should
okay.
be good. Obviously, obviously, I suppose, but you know, we've got the live data. We've got access to F1 official low latency streams.
That's
Unfortunately, I can't share that with you, but
I know.
But when you see us suspend, you'll know that's quicker than, you know, as quick as can be. Should be quicker than anyone else. So, you know, even the likes of Bet365 will just be watching it on UK TV, Sky Sports. So they'll be 5 seconds or so behind us. But so yeah, you should be fine in terms of actually, let me just that raises a good point. So remember, I said we are only actively trading, I think, 5 or 6 markets for this race. So let me go to this is the URL that I sent to you, okay, not the dev environment. No, so we're now in the environment that you will actually use. And what you'll see in this environment is, you know, we're not trading all of these, and you can see what we're not trading. They'll all be suspended. Okay, so I'm in pre-match at the moment, so I've got more markets active now than I will in play as it happens. But I guess something like, so top 6, top 10, we should be good. When it's active, we're active, but you can just make your own mind. I think what I'm trying to say is you make your own decisions on when to activate and when to suspend. Things like the race winner, yes, you'll see that go suspended and active, suspended and active. But things like